We found that people generally associate ecotourism with something that leads to mental health benefits through relaxation, adventure, and a warm environment. However, they also dislike unfamiliar places. As such, we created a study that would look into the interactions between confidence about safety and willingness to go on an ecotourism vacation through the use of an online survey.
Through qualitative interviews, we were able to conclude people were more comfortable with going to places they're familiar with. Thus, the hypothesis of our study is that the amount of information an individual has about a location has a positive relationship with the willingness to go to an ecotourism vacation. We randomly assign our participants a survey block with either lots or little information.
Our dependent variable is the willingness to go on an ecotourism vacation. This is the best measure to decide whether people want to go on a location that is close with nature. Our independent variable is the amount of information received by an individual. We believe that a person can become more comfortable in terms of safety if they receive factual information.
Our hypothesis assumes that the amount of information people have on Costa Rica will influence their willingness to go on an ecotourism vacation. The mediator of that hypothesis is how safe people feel. We expect that people who have more information will feel safer, and hence will be more willing to go on a vacation to Costa Rica.
Our random participants got assigned to a survey block with or without a video. We expect that watching a first aid training video will work as a moderator and change the strength of our relationship. People will become more willing to go on an ecotourism vacation since they feel more prepared to proceed in an emergency situation. There is a positive relationship between watching the video and being inclined to visit Costa Rica.
We kept the rest of the survey the same for all blocks. At first, we wanted to see how willing people were to go on the ecotourism vacation from the information they were given as a part of the 4 blocks. This would help us plot our interaction graphs. The third question is a mediator question, because our mediator is how sure they feel about going on the vacation.
The 4-item scales measure the respondents' feelings using semantic differential scales. We also measured other characteristics we thought would maybe have an effect into our results, such as how experienced is the person with international travel. There were also demographic questions such as age and gender. Finally, we included a manipulation assurance question.
Collection of data was done through Amazon Mechanical Turk. It's a platform that offers monetary awards to people who complete tasks such as surveys. We posted our survey on the website and received 183 responses.
Before running any kind of analysis, we needed to edit our data in Excel. We created average scores for multi-item questions. The columns for the videos were combined to determine whether or not the participant saw the first aid video, and we deleted the second row to make sure that all data on the Excel sheet was numbers. We also created meaningful column names and did not use any formatting.
In order to draw graphs and analyze our results, we used a software called Interaction. The first graph we plotted was using information level as our independent variable, willingness to go as our dependent variable, and the first aid video as the moderator. We used the unformatted results from our survey in order for Interaction to recognize the data.
The graph provided us with an interesting result, but different from the one we were expecting. For those who did not watch the video, information level or text length had a negative relationship on willingness to go. However, when people watch the video, they are less willing to go with a little information, but a lot more willing to go with more information.
Our R-squared value is 0.01, which means that our variables describe only 1% of the variation in the relationship. Neither the length of the information or our moderator have significant p-values. Overall, our interaction reveals that there is 14% probability that the relationship revealed was due to chance, which is not statistically significant.
With the individuals who did not view the video, the level of significance improved on a one-tailed t-test to a p-value of 0.06. Since the p-value with the included moderator is 0.28, the statistical analysis may conclude that the moderator has very little or no effect on the relationship between the amount of information provided and the willingness to go on an ecotourism vacation.
In order to do a mediation analysis, we ran the model once again, but this time adding the mediator, which is safety, as a covariate. By decreasing the level of significance in the interaction from 0.14 to 0.21, we were able to conclude that there was mediation.
When we look at the mediating interaction with and without moderation, we find that no moderator produces a more significant relationship between the variables with a p-value of 0.15, including the moderator results in a p-value of 0.22. Both levels of significance are simply unacceptable to make serious conclusions about the data.
We went further in analyzing the mediation effect and looked into the interaction between our independent variable and the mediator. We found that the biggest difference occurs within the long text readers. Among them, those who watched this video felt more safe than those who didn't. It should be noticed, however, that the difference between the means for the long text reader is only about 0.36.
The interaction between video watching, text length, and levels of confidence and safety came up to a p-value of 0.39. This is one of those insignificant relationships found yet in our analysis. However, when we remove the moderator, we find that the relationship again becomes more of a significant relationship. This tells us that it is very likely that our moderator has little to do with the relationship we set out to define.
Our hypothesis states that people that are more informed about Costa Rica feel safer and are more willing to visit the country. The results indicate that the correlation between the information and willingness to visit the destination is negative 0.46, which contradicts the hypothesis. However, the significance found is equal to 0.14, which is greater than 0.05 standard.
The Amazon Mechanical Turk has returned some inconsistent output. People answered India instead of birth year a few times, which may be a sign that the participants were not fully concentrating when answering the questions. Also, the text in the video may not have had the intended influence on people's thoughts as intended by the group. These can be design errors or self-selection bias.
Taking into account the data obtained and the outputs of the interaction, we conclude that the results are not indicated as base for managerial analysis. The hypothesis does not seem to be valid, which may be due to a conceptual mistake in formulation or some form of bias of the input data.